Hello, I will be showing you today a short demo around 6 minutes of an Oracle NetSuite suite app called FernSpeed. FernSpeed is specifically for the food and beverage and process manufacturing industry. And what I will do is I'll show you some of the features such as the inverted bill of materials, which to me just means one input in and you can have many outputs coming out. Typical example is a chicken, where you have one chicken going into production and you get chicken wings, chicken breast, chicken bones to make soup. So you can have multiple outputs from single or more inputs. I'm going to show you also in the system some production planning and requirements planning, purchase planning, and I'll show you our mobile app that allows you to record these on a mobile device. So let me quickly go through this. So in front of you, there's a normal NetSuite screen. One of these shortcuts is recipes and formulations, and we're built totally within the NetSuite suite script ecosphere. So we're just pure NetSuite. One of the recipes down here, and you can have unlimited recipes. An unlimited version is one called fish frying. I'll just go in and view that. So what we have as well is we have the ability to approve recipes. These are recipes that are ready, being qualified. The accountants, everyone has approved these. You can have multiple unlimited versions. You can have different effective dates for different recipes. Very useful for changeover management. And we also have recipes for different purposes. I used to be an ex-food and beverage production manager. We were interested in 1 or 2, at most 3 weeks horizon for what we had to make. So we would have production recipes. There's also demand recipes for longer time scales for vendor supplier planning. And you can also have costing recipes to see what an effect on the change of, say, a vendor or the method of manufacture is. And you get a very good, quick, accurate view of what the change in costing is. We have, of course, batching quantities, so we have minimum and maximum quantities and the standard quantity. We also have margin calculation, and I'll come back very shortly to show you some of the costing we have. In the system, unlimited inputs, unlimited outputs. One of the outputs we have is waste products. Waste products are important to food and beverage because getting rid of waste cost products can often cost you money, and the money comes back into the recipe costing as a cost, so you can attribute that cost very accurately. We have full instructions here as well, so you can have instructions, sequence instructions that print on the job card, print on the recipe card. We have machine and overhead handling. Machines, just the machines you use for production, so a mixer, a cooker, how much time, how much cost. Overheads are interesting for food people in that you can do a thing called, or close to, absorption-based costing, ABC, or activity-based costing. What this allows you to do is put in overheads like a rental, factory rental, admin costs, whatever, electricity even, whatever the overhead costs you want, unlimited overheads, and this then goes into the costing of the recipe and production. Key importance in food and beverage where margins are very tight. We also have labor handling, so you can put in the cost of the chef, the cost of the charge hands, cost of whoever is involved in production, and we also have full allergen and nutrition handling. So you can print a nutrition label, you can print a UK nutrition label, and from the same recipe you can print a European nutrition label. You can print these labels directly within the system. So once you've got the recipes defined, you then can go and create some work for this. So what we'll do is we'll go back to the dashboard, and what you'd probably do first is you'd go and create a production plan. Oracle NetSuite itself has its own demand planning system and its purchase planning system, but one of the disadvantages is it doesn't take into account shelf life. So we have rewritten their demand planning to take into account shelf life. So what we have the ability to do is you have multiple plans within the system, that can go short period and a long period of planning, so you can see the effect of the plan. One thing I should have mentioned, and I'll just quickly go back to it, is costing. So let's go back to that recipe. This is the fish frying recipe. And what I'll do is I'll quickly press the cost button. This goes through the system, looks at the recipe, and works out the costing. We have a number of very interesting costing, we think. So on the right hand side here is you have in effect the standard costing. So this says the costing method defined on the item. So if you use average costing or FIFO or LIFO, it takes out that cost and it tells you what you expect the cost of this item to be. So it goes through in effect the standard recipe, standard quantities, and tells you what the cost is. On the left hand side there is the costing that says if I did this today, what would my cost of production be? So using your actual inventory at your actual costs of that inventory. There's a third costing, of course, which is when you produce the goods. So when you produce this fried fish, instead of using 120 pieces of fish, they use 125. So you get a third cost, which is the actual cost. And of course, you can see as food people that these variances are very interesting. You get standard to actual, standard to planned. You get a very set of very good variances, which we have reports for. So back quickly to planning. So once you've created the production order plan, you've gone forward, say 3 months. You then drop that into the requirements plan, and the requirements plan will create the purchase orders. Purchase orders need to be approved, of course, but it will create out the purchase orders in order to achieve that plan. What we then do, of course, is you create production orders. Production orders are jobs there to make something. What we'll do is we'll look at this first one on the list, which is our Danish chocolate recipe. So let's quickly look at that one. And what this says is this order is completed. It's got 9 pieces being made, and you can see here the ingredients, the machines. These are derived from your recipe, and then you can see this has made 9 pieces. We have the full GL impact and the costing screens as you have in NetSuite. It uses the standard NetSuite inventory engine, so that it uses all the standard NetSuite features, and it has full WIP, work in progress or work in process accounting as well. So your people can record straight on this screen if they want. So it's a standard NetSuite screen, or what they can do is they can go to our mobile app. This is sort of a pseudo mobile app, because what it is this is really just a NetSuite screen that's been optimized to look good and to function on Android, iPads, iPhones, tablets. So it works well on those devices. And you're probably aware nowadays you can have very tough, robust but cheap Android devices, IP65, so they're fairly not indestructible but fairly indestructible. And using these devices, you can have a scanner and you can scan, and then for instance you scan the order number, the job number, and then you can go in and your people can record the details. This is optimized for a mobile device. So what happens is they can go in, they can record the production. I'll cancel this. And some of the other interesting things specifically of food is you can unuse ingredients, so they can go back to the warehouse. You can print a label that then is printed out on a sticky label, can be attached to the item itself, and you can do a thing called ad hoc inputs. Often in kitchens and food factories, things happen that you want to record, but there's no logical place to record them. So in here you can actually say to the system, well, I've used 10 kilos of tomato puree, I've used it on this job, so you can record those. The idea is to get very accurate costing. The other thing, of course, is you can write off ingredients and you can complete this. This is, as I say, optimized for a food and for a Android device, very useful in kitchens and in food factories. Let's go back to the main screen. So just to summarize, that's going to be about 10 minutes, this quick demo. It's of Oracle's NetSuite Fern Speed, which is a food and beverage application within the NetSuite environment. It has multiple inputs, multiple outputs, has full costing, very detailed costing, also has production planning and purchase planning, along with production order planning, as well as the ability to record that planning, those production orders on a mobile device. Thank you very much. I hope you found it interesting.